Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you've been watching the Royals. They've been destroying throughout this playoff season. Hopefully they won today, swept the Orioles. If not, I'm way off because I videotaped this a little early. So hopefully they're doing great. So speaking of baseball, what are you supposed to do when you hit a baseball? That was a Dora Explorer look. That's my wife told me to do. Hopefully that's cool. Yeah, you're supposed to run, all right? You're not supposed to watch the ball because you slow down and you have more chance of getting out. So you're supposed to run. And so today I have a question. How do you, or are you running to God? That's what we're going to talk about. God made us to run to Him. You know, Adam in the garden, every time he had a problem, he used to go to God. You think about it. He was standing there and he was naming all the different animals and he's looking at him going, yeah, you're not my mate. Nope. Nope. You know, that's how he was doing what God asked him to do, name animals, but he realized that he didn't have somebody for him, so he said, hey, God, I don't have a mate. You know, where's my woman at? And so God put him to sleep and took his rib out and actually made a woman for him. And so that's just how Adam thought. You know, God was the solution to everything. Hey, you know what's crazy? When God created Eve, the Bible says that Adam and Eve were both naked. Okay, junior hires, naked and unashamed. All right, so what's that mean? That means they didn't care what anybody else thought. They didn't have any idea, any know-how to think about that. So think about it in today's terms. What would it be like to not be worried about what everybody thought about you? So here's some different areas that we worry about. We worry about what we wear. We worry about what kind of music. People are telling us who we should date, what we should spend our money on, what we should buy. People are telling us how we should talk. You go around school trying to impress everybody. You know what's also crazy is that Adam and Eve, they didn't worry about what God thought about them either. They didn't go around and think, oh man, is God there? Does God love me? Does God even care about me? Those thoughts never cross their mind because they're so connected to God. There came this tragic day in the story of God. Adam and Eve, they chose to disobey God in what we call the fall. Adam and Eve, they were in the garden and the serpent started talking to him, who was Satan, and told him, hey, look, this fruit's good, you should have it. And it was the one rule that God gave was not to eat of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But instead, they decided to eat that tree, eat the fruit, and they disobeyed God. And in doing so, they recklessly changed everything in an instant. The Bible says in Genesis 3, verse 7, it says that when their eyes were opened, they were naked and ashamed. And so the moment that Adam and Eve sinned, everything changed. And just like I put this food coloring in this water, you can see how it's pretty awesome looking actually, but how it instantly changes the water completely. So it's no longer clear. And so if this water was humanity and this was sin, that's what happened. Yeah, that sin, as it infiltrated them, they felt things they've never felt before. They felt being alone. They felt guilt. They felt shame. They felt condemnation. They felt just the pressure of their identity crisis. They began to look at other people and think, man, what do they think of me? Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? And they began to question who they were. And so there's this huge shift, all right, in how we treat ourselves. Do you ever wonder what the world would be like if Adam and Eve never sinned? What would be different if they obeyed God instead of disobeying God in the garden? You know, today there's these awesome videos that are out there. If you go to iamsecond.com, you can check out the stories of real life people. Some are celebrities, some are famous athletes, all these different people. And they tell their stories about how they ran to God and how it drastically changed their life. I Am Second has the stories of people you know every day. It's got the stories of people like Lecrae. If you ever watch Duck Dynasty, it's got the Robertsons on there. Country music artist Josh Turner. And it's also got professional athlete baseball player from the Angels, which we swept. It's got Albert Pujols. And they tell their stories about how they ran to God because they realized that their life was drastically in need of God, and they ran to Him. Are you ready to run to God? You think about it. If you put God first and you run to him above everything else, above what you think of your friends and what your friends think of you and how you put yourself in your world and you run to God, think of how it'll change your life. Think about how you'll play sports. Think about how you'll walk in the hallway. Think about how you'll treat your education or how you treat your parents. Or think about who you date or why you date. Think about all the changes you'd have in place if you began to follow God more than anything else. It would drastically alter your life. Are you ready to live for God? There's 3 ways you can live your life. The first way is that you can just waste your life. You can totally not be in tune with God, and you can hear all this and hear about Jesus in the Bible and just totally forget about it. The second way is that you can spend your life. You can do what you want. You can make your own plans, your own dreams, and pursue what you have for your life, and maybe have a good life, but not honor God and not do anything with Jesus. And the third way is you can invest your life. You can take all that God's given you and you can pursue God full-heartedly with it and live the abundant life that God has for you. And while doing that, you can share the story of Jesus with your friends and see lives changed forever. And so, God has placed you in this game of life. Are you willing to run to him?